The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News.
And to the parents and families in the class of 2023, congratulations.
Straight ahead here on DC News Now at 10, President Biden delivers the commencement speech at Howard University, a recap of his top talking points. Plus, protecting your vehicle from catalytic converter thefts.
They want something they can get under, cut it out, and get down the way.
It's being taken in Prince George's County, but first, here's meteorologist Scott Sumner.
And Lisa, I tell you, our Mother's Day is shaping up to be a little bit better a day than what we saw today, with plenty of clouds and plenty of showers around. A turn of events on your Sunday. We'll talk about it coming up.
All right, and a beer festival returning to Frederick County. What participants say it means to them. But again, thank you for joining us. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for DC News Now at 10. I'm Annalisa Gale. It's graduation weekend for many colleges and universities in the district. And today, Howard University held its ceremony at the Capital One Arena with a special guest, President Joe Biden. DC News Now's Dave Laval takes a look at his message.
President Joe Biden received an honorary degree from Howard University Saturday as he delivered the commencement address. He also brought a message from one of the university's most notable graduates.
Kamala sends her love, and she sent a clear message that today I have the privilege, she points out, of speaking at the real HU.
The president is the 7th sitting U.S. president to deliver the university's commencement address.
We can finally resolve those ongoing questions about who we are as a nation. That puts strength of our diversity at the center of American life. The future that celebrates and learns from history. A future for all Americans. A future I see you leading, and I'm not, again, exaggerating.
The weather forced the graduation ceremony to be moved to the Capital One Arena from campus, but that change could not put a damper on the impact of Howard University and the other historically black colleges and universities.
HBCUs help produce 40% of black engineers, 50% of black lawyers. 70% of black doctors and dentists. 80% of black judges. Class of 2023, you're the reason I'm so optimistic about the future. And I give my word, I really mean it. You're part of the most gifted, tolerant, talented, best educated generation in American history. That's a fact.
Dave Laval, DC News Now.
And the president also spent time touching on other issues as he prepares to run for re-election in 2024. He's standing by his student debt relief plan despite recent lawsuits.
To reduce your student debt service payments when you graduate, we're also ensuring that no one with an undergraduate loan today or in the future will have to pay more than 5% of discretionary income to repay their loans, down from 10, and in 20 years is gone. Republican officials are fighting that as well. But I'll always keep fighting for you.
All right, Scott, was glad to see that they were inside for that graduation because they would have definitely been rained on.
Yeah, the showers were out in full force. It wasn't a downpour, and it wasn't severe weather, but it certainly made for a miserable afternoon, especially if you're out in the roadways driving around. Right now we have wet pavement, but it is dry outside and overcast across the area as we look at downtown Annapolis. 66 degrees here in the district, and again, overcast conditions here as well. Our winds are out of the northwest, fairly light at 7 miles an hour, and because the humidity and the dew point are a little on the high side as we speak, that means a little bit of lower visibility is kicking into play here as high pressure moves on in. But this storm, this front, continues to sag south, and going into Mother's Day, it'll be well away from the area. Well away enough to allow for some rays of sunshine to work their way in to replace the clouds that we saw this afternoon, and certainly those rain showers as they reside across the Carolinas tomorrow. All right, how about planning your evening tonight? Oh, anywhere from, say, 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. We're looking at improving sky conditions from mostly cloudy to partly cloudy from 1 to 4 to 7 a.m. And temperatures, well, we'll see a little bit of a drop off there. We'll be into the 50s, most locations across the board. What about the headlines here? Well, the showers are, like I said, are moving out tonight, already have for most of us. Some sunshine for Mother's Day, good there. Looking good for Monday, and some isolated showers make a return on Tuesday. I'll break it down for you, show you that futurecast and your 7-day forecast, all coming up.
All right, thanks, Scott. New tonight, a death investigation is underway in Fairfax County. We're told a body was found behind a business in Falls Church, Virginia, in the 3000 block of Glen Carlin Drive. No further details were provided. We'll continue tracking this story as it develops. Also new tonight, Prince George's County Police are investigating a deadly shooting in the unincorporated section of District Heights. We're told police responded to the 6000 block of Blacksmith Drive just before noon. That's where they found a man suffering from a gunshot wound. He later died at a hospital. At this time, no arrests have been made. Well, today, officials in Prince George's County help people to protect their catalytic converters following an increase in thefts. DC News Now's Tosin Fakile shows us what they're doing to help.
The event was held at a body shop in Beltsville, and it was free, but only for people who lived in PG County. And it was to help keep catalytic converters where they're supposed to be, underneath a car. Now, the no-cost event happened at Miller Automotive Services. It was by appointment only, and people had to sign up with the auto repair business. People were able to get their catalytic converter registered. They were given stickers with QR codes to get that registered. Now, catalytic converter thefts have been on the rise around the DMV, causing insurance claims to jump. The shop tells DC News Now about 30 people registered for Saturday's event.
We're talking about thousands, tens of thousands of dollars worth of theft. They want to go into apartment building complexes. They want to go into commercial businesses where the vehicles are parked overnight so they can hit 10, 20, 30 vehicles at a time. It will help to prevent the theft in the first place. If they see it's been marked, then it's going to be harder for them to take it or sell it later.
That event went on from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. I'm Tosin Fakile for DC News Now. Back to you.
Well, despite today's rain, thousands attended a craft beer festival this afternoon in Frederick County, Maryland. And A. Simmons talked to the organizers about how business has evolved since the start of the pandemic.
The 10th annual Maryland Craft Beer Festival right here in Frederick County is showcasing almost over 200 unique beers that are on tap with over 69 breweries, some that aren't even open yet to the public. So how did they do during the pandemic and after?
So they really do anchor down some of our neighborhoods and cities in the state. They also bring in a lot of economic development through tourism.
Kelly Dudek, Executive Director of the Brewers Association of Maryland, says the pandemic took a toll on the brewing industry over the years.
I know a lot of our brewers have been missing that connection with folks. So
their latest challenge is inflation, which is being felt, according to Steinhardt Brewing owner Jim Steinhardt.
Certainly the price of some of our ingredients have gone up, and a year ago we increased prices, but we've been able to hold it for a little over a year now.
Attendees at the festival were happy to be back at in-person events where social distancing is a thing of the past.
I'm kind of glad all that's over with. It's kind of good to get back to normal. To the normal.
And it was good for business as they got the word out about their brands.
It's kind of fun to actually be able to go out and do normal things again and not think about it.
And the rain didn't stop the attendees from coming out and enjoying the beer. Reporting in Frederick, Maryland, Anae Simmons, DC News Now.
And tracking the biggest developing story this weekend in sports, a monumental shift in ownership coming for the Washington Commanders possibly. Current co-owners Dan Snyder and his wife have agreed to sell the team to the Josh Harris Group. The deal comes months after the Snyders hired investment bankers to explore selling the team. According to reports, the deal is valued at approximately $6 billion, and the NFL owners still have to vote now to make the deal official. As for Josh Harris, he is no stranger to owning professional sports teams in addition to the Commanders. Harris is a majority owner of the NBA's Philadelphia Sixers and NHL's New Jersey Devils. He's now partnering with Magic Johnson and Mitch Rales to buy the Commanders. DC News Now sports director Derek Forrest has a look at what happens next in this process.
It's been a horrific disaster. It was only a matter of time.
His impact has been an anchor that has pulled the boat underwater and just kind of kept going further and further into the dirt for a long, long time.
25 years, a little too late, if you ask some.
Unquestionably, Daniel Snyder has been one of the worst owners in sports over the last 25 years, and he has worked incredibly hard to earn that.
But the Dan Snyder era in Washington is officially over.
He's ruined the franchise.
And no matter who you ask,
he is a despicable disgrace. He is a tyrant.
You get the same response nearly each and every time.
He has killed the fan base of a franchise that was one of the pillars of the NFL.
Dan Snyder.
The Washington Commanders, and by any other name, have simply been a colossal disaster.
Was no good.
He was kind of handed the keys, if you will, to a plane, and he's driven it into a mountain.
For the Washington franchise.
He is everything that is wrong.
There are a list of things hanging over Dan Snyder's head, including workplace misconduct, congressional subpoenas and testimonies, and threatening to sue anyone who comes at him. The list goes on, and we haven't even talked about football.
And he's just deteriorated it with mediocrity and losing and bad decisions over and over again over the course of 25 years.
Since Dan Snyder bought the team in 1999, the Washington franchise has won 10-plus games in a season just 3 times. They've made it to the postseason 6 times and have gotten out of the first round only twice. Is there a correlation between the off-the-field drama getting in the way of the on-the-field success? Possibly.
That damage to the franchise and to the human beings that work there is probably the top line of Dan Snyder's legacy, but somehow it gets even worse beyond that.
But if there's one thing you can say about Snyder, which is good, he did try to get the best talent on the football field.
Usually when ownership fails, it's because ownership doesn't put the resources into the team that allows them to operate on all cylinders to be successful. The fact that Dan did that and they were not consistently successful will always be the greatest mystery to me, because Dan was willing to spend from day one.
Either way, the fans can now rejoice with parades across the DMV.
Good riddance. May he be as a fraction as miserable as he's made fans of this franchise for so many years.
As Dan Snyder has officially left the building.
I've long looked forward to the day that someone else was owning this football team.